Taking a live look at Capitol Hill on this Tuesday morning, House Republicans plan to launch a new select committee to investigate the intelligence community with their new majority. National correspondent Logan Raddick joining us now live on Capitol Hill with details. Logan, good morning.
Emma, good morning. It's strong comparisons to the old church committee, and this select committee that House Republicans are going to create will be responsible for looking into what they call the politicalization of the federal government agencies like the FBI, the DOJ, other law enforcement agencies at the federal level. Now, this committee is coming about as one of the key concessions that Kevin McCarthy made in order to be elected Speaker of the House on the 15th ballot last week. And the committee will probe the FBI and the Justice Department, including their ongoing investigations, particularly those into Donald Trump. Now, this committee would also be privy to classified information that only members of the House Intelligence Committee typically receive. Congressman Chip Roy, who is a key negotiator in the concession, says the Select Committee includes a budget proposal that is the same as the defunct January 6th committee, so there will be just as much resources going to this committee. Now, the Select Subcommittee would also be under the jurisdiction of the House Judiciary Committee. That committee is chaired by Jim Jordan. So this is just one of the promises that Republicans made throughout the midterms, and now they're back in power here in the House, and they say that they're going to be looking into what they call overreach from the federal government and a one-sided politicalization of these agencies, FBI, DOJ, et cetera, and that all begins this week. Back to you.
That word gets me all the time, too. I'm telling you, it's tough. Politicizing of. That's always how you get around that one. Logan Raddick, good to see you there at the Capitol. Logan, thank you. President Biden could be in hot water. We talked about this here. A U.S. attorney in Chicago reviewing less than a dozen documents marked classified found at the Penn Biden Center for Diplomacy and Global Engagement. This is in D.C. So one of the questions here, and there are many, but does it hurt Biden's chances for running for his second term? Fred Fleitz is joining us, former chief of staff for the National Security Council under the Trump administration. Fred, thanks so much for coming on. We do appreciate it. So how about this? Did you ever think that this story would come into fruition? The DOJ investigating Trump for classified documents, the DOJ investigating the current president for classified documents and how they were handled. Your thoughts when this story broke?
Well, you know, Biden defenders are trying to say that, look, these documents found in the Biden think tank, it's not very serious. It's nothing like Mar-a-Lago. Well, let's look at this. What was found in Mar-a-Lago reflected the chaos of the end of the Trump term, the president's belief that he could declassify documents, the fact that many of these documents weren't classified at all, such as the letters the president exchanged with Kim Jong-un. I've seen them. They're not classified. But what happened in the Biden think tank office, where documents were there for almost 7 years, these were documents by a former official who's very familiar with classified rules and regulations. And I think these are documents and official records, not just the classified documents, official records. His notes also should be turned over to the National Archive. These were sent to his office probably for him to do his memoirs, maybe for personal business. I think it's a much more serious matter. I think it was a deliberate effort to take classified documents from the U.S. government, put them in an unsecure location, really needs to be investigated.
Now, hold on a second here, because reports are coming in that President Biden is reportedly unaware. He had no clue that these existed or they were in that office, again, according to reports. Do you buy that?
No, I don't buy that. I think Biden directed these documents to be collected for him to write his memoirs or for him to do business after he left government. And he told his aides where to send them. The box was sealed, and he eventually was going to open them and do whatever business he planned. And it worries me that if this is the way Biden handles classified documents, there probably are other boxes of documents elsewhere, maybe at his homes in Delaware. They should be searched too.
All right, we'll continue to follow this story. Again, a lot of questions to it, and keep it right here for National Report. We're going to get you every fact as much as we can here on the broadcast. I want to turn to this with you, how this story is being reported or covered, rather, within the media. We'll show you MSNBC host Rachel Maddow defending Joe Biden in light of this story.
The reason this created a lot of excitement on the right, briefly tonight, is that it immediately created a perceived whataboutism defense for President Trump. A brief flurry of excitement on the right about this prospect when this news broke about the Penn-Biden Center. The reason it was only a brief flurry of excitement is because in President Biden's case, he and his lawyers appear to have actually done the right thing.
Okay, now keep that in the back of your head for a second, Fred, because I'm going to give you the Washington Post and how they reported it as well, rushing to defense, tweeting this. The case will likely draw comparisons to Mar-a-Lago, but it appears quite different. Officials have said the Trump investigation concerns not just the possible mishandling of classified documents, but possible obstruction of justice or destruction of records, end quote. Also, and I noted earlier when NBC News put it out, they called it a small number, in quotes, a small number of classified documents found. Your thoughts on how the media is covering the story?
First of all, we don't know that a small number of documents was held. We just know someone familiar with the investigation told that to the news media.
Right.
But there's a big difference here. The Biden documents were turned over when he was caught. They were being hidden. President Trump didn't hide the documents at Mar-a-Lago, and he was cooperating with the FBI and the National Archives to turn them over. Biden only turned these documents over because he was caught.
All right, we'll continue to, again, to analyze this story, continue to ask the questions and get as much information as we possibly can. Fred Fleitz joining us live. Fred, always good to see you. Thanks for that.
Good to be here.